Hey, hey, wise. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Self-Care Sunday. How y'all been doing since the last time we spoke? Friday. Listen, not gonna hold y'all long. I know this is the Lord's Day. And this is family day, and a lot of people are minding their own business as they should today. But I was led to come and share this quick little message with you. I was led to come and share this message with you. And y'all see my title. And when I thought about this, when that came to my spirit, when it dropped into my spirit, and I'm like, it wasn't me. I'm like, wasn't that a song? It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I don't know the words, but I remember I remember the part. It wasn't me. I'm like, where did that come from? And baby, that literally dropped so heavy in my spirit today doing worship. I'm like, okay, God, where we going with this one? And so at church, we are in a series of the book of Revelation. The book of Revelation. And I am super, super duper excited because I'm like, Revelation has been one of those books that you kind of like in and out with. You don't really just kind of like just read it straight through. I haven't. I've read through some of the book of Revelation. And so our pastor, he is like a scholar in these types of things. He has the degree in all these type of theologics types of things. And so it's almost like we getting like a free course in the book of Revelation at church. And so I'm super excited about that. But, when he was talking today, a lot of times when, the pastor's talking, the Lord will use that time to download certain things in me or download certain, bring certain things to my memory or whatever to kind of like jot down, even as I'm taking notes from what he listened to, or to apply some of the things that, the pastor is saying, to what, I may have going on, or my business, my life, my marriage, my children. And so that's kind of like what happened today. And what I came up with was God's will, his plan, done his way. That was like, it was like, it's going to be God's will, his plan, and it's going to be done his way. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. And you're saying like, okay, well, why? Why? Because he's God. Because he's God. Because he's sovereign. Because he's in control. And one of the things that I have discovered as I'm coming to a close of my transitioning talk, I've been talking about transitioning for the last couple of videos. And not only that, I have spoken to so many who are in that transitional, period, who is in that transitional place. And it's like, you ain't the only one. So it's like, I almost kind of like don't feel so bad. It's like, you're not the only one. Like, this thing is heavy. This thing is happening like right now. And so this is kind of like my final close, especially as, we get ready to walk into, the marriage, restoration event that I'm having on Saturday. I want to kind of like close with this. I want to kind of close with this. So let me just say a quick prayer. Father God, Lord, thank you, Jesus, for your faithfulness. Thank you, God, for your sovereignty. Thank you, God, for being who you are. Lord, I pray now in your son, Jesus' name, that you would give me the words to speak to your daughters. Whatever it is that they need to hear during this message, God, help them to receive it in the mighty name of Jesus. Lord, may there be no backlash. Cover me with your son, Jesus' precious blood. As I pray and ask these things in your son, Jesus' name, amen. Welcome. My name is Coach T. For some of the ones who may not know me, I am a mental health wife coach and marriage consultant. And I coach wives who are going through a marriage hardship. a marriage challenge. A lot of these wives that I coach are enduring or suffering through addiction, adultery, abandonment, mental and emotional abuse. And a lot of these wives that I coach have biblical reasons to exit out of a marriage. They have biblical reasons to exit out of a marriage, yet they feel a tug. They feel a pulling from the Lord that's saying, I don't want you to go nowhere. I want you to stay right there. I want you to stay right there. And so welcome. I didn't finish that part. they have biblical reasons to exit out of their marriage, yet and still God has, tells them, like not to go. So what I do, I help wives to confront their marital grief so that they can, face whatever that marital challenge is, get whatever it is that God is trying to get to them, help them through so they can navigate through that process in the most healthiest way. All right. And so that's what I do with my coaching, with helping wives. I help wives I hold them accountable. All right. I support them on their journey, and I help them to maintain their journey, the maintenance part of their journey. All right. So welcome. Listen. God's will, his plan, done his way. Period. In my Forrest Gump voice. And that's all I got to say about that. God's will be done. Right? God's will be done. And one of the things that I have discovered is God is going to have the final say on this. And I have been getting so many downloads on Saturdays. After if I have a session, or just depending on what my Saturdays look like. If I have a session, if I have my my own therapy session, or if it's me and Mr. C session, we have our own personal session, or sometimes it's just time with me, me and God's time. That's what my Saturdays kind of like revolve around. So one of those, one of a few of those things will take place on my Saturdays as I, prepare myself for, the week to come, prepare myself, of course, the domestic stuff still keeps going. You're not going to stop mommying. You're not going to stop being an auntie. You're not going to stop being a daughter, a sister. You're not going to stop being those things. Those things are going to still happen. You got to still take care of your household needs and things like that. But for the most part, if I'm not, giving my full attention to, like I said, a session, and like I said, in my own therapy session, to my husband, or, like I said, that time I just spend with God and just allow him to kind of download to me. And one of the things that I had really, really been, trying to just sit with God with, especially as we are preparing for Saturday, just like, God, help me to understand some of these things. Help me to, what is it you want to share with the people? What is it you want, you want me to share with the people? What do I need to be doing as I prepare to share with the people? And one of the things I keep hearing over and over again, and I've heard it on, like I said, I'm on Instagram as a business person, and then sometimes I'm just on here just to be on here. But I'm hearing the same thing over and over again, which is God wins. God wins. At the end of the day, when it's all said, done, and over with, God wins. The victory is already yours. You will get through it. Whatever that it is, you're going to get through it. Okay? As long as you are on God's team, as long as you are repping for Jesus, you win. That's the bottom line. So it doesn't matter how challenging that transition season is right now. It doesn't matter what you may be facing, what you may be going through. You have to keep your mind, your eyes on the prize. And the prize is God wins. God wins. You are victorious, and God will get you through whatever it is, right? Sometimes it may not necessarily feel that way. You may feel like God has forsaken you. You may feel like God has, spin the block a couple times. Like, God, don't leave me. Don't leave me. I need you to God, I need you to spin the block and come see about me. So you may feel like God has, has went ahead of you, and he has went ahead of you. but you may feel forsaken. You may feel like, he has, forgot about you, and that, it's not going to work out, or it's not going to happen. But you have to be able to see these things all the way through. And this is why I coach like I do when it comes down to my wives. One of the things I tell my wives is consistency, that routine, that your self-care, whatever your self-care regimen. I just gave you a little bit of my self-care regimens of what I do on Saturdays. What is needed for me to be what I need to be. What is needed for me to be what I need to be for God's people. What is needed for me to be what I need to be as a wife, as a mother. What is needed for me to be as an individual. There are certain things that I have to do on a consistent base just to, keep going. But one of the things that we cannot lose focus of is God wins. God wins. And I think I had wrote that down. I don't even have it with me now. I think I heard somebody talking about, talking about the Olympics, say that you may not be in the Olympics, but you are definitely in the race. Like, you may not necessarily be, in the Olympics, but you are in a race, right? You are in a race. And what you have to understand is you got to learn how to maintain your own race. Even when the different hurdles come up, okay? Even when the different stumbling blocks, come your way. Even when circumstances arrive. Even when, hardship, arises. Even when challenges come knocking at your door. You have to know how to face your Goliath. You have to know how to face those things, look it dead in its eye, and stand up in it. Stand up in it. You got to be able to face it. Now, even in the midst of you standing up in it, even in the midst of you having those moments, naturally, we are human beings. And a lot of times, sometimes, the religion side can kind of cross that up and make you feel like you have to, because you are a Christian and you know the word and you are this and that, they make you feel like you have to be this perfect person. I'm here today to tell you, take that off of your list. Delete, erase, move that. You are not. You are not. You're going to have human moments, okay? You're going to have human moments. Even Jesus, and I've been watching Chosen, in between my resting time. And man, the things that God just downloaded. I was watching the part before he, when he got the letter to go to we'll see about his friend Lazarus. Man, listen. Even Jesus, have had his moments of being a human. And that's why the Bible talks about that. I think it's in Hebrews that he can be compassionate with us. He know how to, he understands us because he himself have experienced the human side of this side of things. Him himself have experienced the human things. And so one of the things that stood out on Chosen, I want to just add this part in there because I thought it was just so phenomenal. Where I didn't understand it until after I seen I guess Mary, after everybody had kind of like walked away from Lazarus, after Jesus had already helped him, come from out or whatever. At the end, everybody had walked away and she kind of walked towards the stone that was rolled away. And so she was looking at Jesus and the people walking away, and she was looking at the stone, and then she was looking at Jesus, them walking away, and she was looking at the stone, and it was almost like it hit her. God gave her revelation. And it was like, this is why he did this. He did this because he was trying to give people a visual of what was going to take place with him. He was trying to give people a visual of what was happening with him. And so it wasn't that he was disregarding the letter that was sent to him by the sisters. He wasn't disregarding it. What he was doing was that letter was the indicator that I'm getting close to my time. It's getting close to my time. And so he was like, I ain't gonna do this right now. This because it ain't time yet, but it's getting close to my time. So you see him, balling the paper up when he get the letter. And one of his disciples, I think it was Peter, one of his disciples noticed that he had balled it up. And even him, when he was at that moment, it was like, it makes sense now why. And so one of his disciples, Thomas, this is TV. And so he was just trying to feel like, why, this is crazy. Why would you save your friend? You could have saved anybody else. You could have saved you didn't save your cousin. You could have you could do this for anybody, but why him? Why him? And Thomas was not getting the revelation. He was not getting the revelation. He was not in that space. But Mary grabbed hold to the revelation, and some of the other disciples grabbed a hold to what was taking place. Jesus wanted the people to not only see this miracle, but he also wanted them to understand and get the revelation of, this is what's getting ready to take place with me. And you have to understand, just like I brought this dead man back to life, come on, Jesus. This is what my God is going to do. And this is what I want you guys to understand. I want y'all to remember this moment, this day. And that was the last, that was it. That was the last thing that Jesus did, for his people. Like that was the last sign. He was like, this is it. He's like, my time is here. My time is now. That this is it. Wife. Transitioning season, because that was a transition for Jesus, okay? He had to transition, and he had to really, prepare his mind for what was getting ready to come next. He had to really prepare himself about what was getting ready to happen. Transitional season is hard. It is very, very hard. But you have to understand there is glory on the other side of that. One of the things that Jesus had to keep remembering was, this is why I was sent here. This is why God sent me here. This is my purpose for being here. Yes, I've made friends. Yes, I've experienced life. Yes, we have done things. Yes, we have had fun. Yes, I have taught. Yes, we have, we built these relationships. But at the end of the day, this is why I was sent here. I was sent here for this very reason. Wife, you have to understand and know, transitioning season is part of what God is doing in me to push me to that next level that I need to get to. What is needed to happen in me so that I can be pushed to that next level. Because I know when it's all said and done, after this, come on, Jesus, after this, after I go through this part, after I deal with these things, after I go through this hardship, what's on the other side of this? And when you know ahead of time, when your focus is, I win. Whatever it is, I win. Whatever the outcome is, I win. However it turns out, I win. Whatever it comes out to be, I win. You win, wife. And this is one of the things why I feel like it's so important for wives to know ahead of time what is it that's on the other side of this, on the other side of transitioning. God is not calling us. This is one of the things my pastor had said, and this is something that God had been talking to me about, simple obedience. He said, God is not calling us to understanding. He's calling us to obedience. He's calling us to obedience. You will get the understanding as you go. A lot of things, wife, that you may be transitioning through, you may not understand it. You may be trying to figure out, like, God, what is this? I don't even know why God has me in this place. I don't even know why I'm doing this. I don't even know, what this is about. I don't even know. A lot of times God will have you go through certain seasons and you will come out on the other side of it and you don't even know what was the reason for that. Why did I have to go through those things? And God's like, I ain't calling you to be, I'm not calling you to be, for you to understand. I'm calling you for you to obey. I shared with y'all, if y'all go back to some of my old videos back in the day, I shared with y'all, that was how God walked me on my journey. God walked me through. Even my husband sometimes questioned, like, what made you stay? Why did you do this? He still be trying to, like, analyze in his mind, like, what made you do all this? Like, and it's like, bruh, it wasn't me. it wasn't me. I simply obeyed the instructions of the Lord. And during that time, like I said, I was so on fire. I was so like, it was like, whatever God told me did, I did it. Whatever God told me to do, okay, God, go ahead. And a lot of times the instructions that he gave me concerning my marriage and my husband, I did not understand it. But it was not until after I kept doing it and I kept going and I kept doing and I kept going, then it started to make sense. The understanding came. God is not calling you to understand right away, wife. God is calling you to obey. I don't know why we as his children feel like we can do opposite of what he say. Because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, God's will, his plan, his way, it's going to be how he want it to be. one of the things that the Lord has had to discipline Coach T in, even to this day, sometimes he still have to, come for me and say, look, it's not gonna be your way. it's not gonna happen the way you want it to happen. It ain't gonna necessarily go the way you necessarily want it to go. When I am ready to do a thing, I'm going to do it, and it's going to happen the way I want it to happen. It's going to work out the way I want it to work out. And you can try all over and over again to try to, and this is why so many wives are frustrated on their journey, because they keep on trying to do things their way. They keep on trying to figure things out and do it in their own strength. And God's like, you gonna keep on paddling on that paddle, and your legs gonna get tired. you gonna keep in that same place. You gonna keep on going in circles, and you gonna get dizzy. You gonna keep on that same road, and you gonna mess around and be right back in the same place you was at last month, last year, yesterday. You're gonna be in that same spot because you refuse to give it to me. If you don't hear nothing else I say today, hear me on this. God's gonna have his way in this. His will be done, and he's gonna do it his way. You can try to fight this. You can try to go back and forth. You can try to scuffle. You can try to. He is going to do it his way. God had to tell Coach T on numerous occasions, stop trying to make that man do something that he don't want to do right now. Stop trying to make him understand that he understands something that he's not ready to receive right now. Stop trying to force your will on him. He's not there yet. I've already told you what's going on with him. This is something that the Lord still tells me to this day. Sometimes Coach C would try it sometimes with Mr. C. And I say certain things, be like, to try to see it, okay. It's like, God cut that manipulation off at the root. Stop that. Stop. He not ready to receive that yet. No, stop that. Don't do that yet. I already told you where he is. And one thing that I'm always what I feel so convicted in the most when God does call me out on stuff like that is I've been already told you. I've been already told you, but yet and still you will take the very thing that I told you. You'll go around this whole circle just to come back because you're trying to do it your way. You'll go around this whole circle, around this whole mountain. You'll go around this whole thing just to get right back to the very place that I said, this is where we are. And nothing's going to happen until I'm ready for it to happen. Well, if you do understand and know that God has a timing when he's ready to move in your marriage, you do know that God has a time when he's ready to do something in your husband. You do know that God has a specific time. And this is why I say your hearing, the instructions that he give you, those divine downloads are so important. And you have to pay attention to those things, because every single time I would try to do it my way and go around this corner, and God been already told me, he always bring back to me, but what I had said though, but what I had already told you though. You keep on trying to go this way and let me go this way. You trying to take all these detours and take all these shortcuts and do these things. And God's like, but what I had told you though, because every single time it comes right back to, I had already told you that though. Because you finally now get the revelation of, oh my God, this is the same thing that God already said to me. This is the same thing that God had already shared with me. Those are the same words that God has already, poured out to me. God is like, I don't know why my kids don't listen to me. They're making this journey more harder for themselves. I don't know why they won't listen to me the first time. They're still trying to do things their own way. Let me give you an example why. Your husband, who you haven't talked to in a couple of months, and God has been telling you that he's going to call. He hasn't been in a good place. He hasn't been this. He hasn't been that. Things are going on with him, this and that and the other, yada, yada, yada. But he's going to call you. And so when he does finally call, like God said he will, instead of you listening to him and hearing him out and seeing, God, because God already done told you, certain things that he got going on, this and that and the other, you immediately take that phone call as, oh, this is a sign from God. God is getting ready to do something in my marriage. And you immediately inject your will, your perspective, your desire, what you want to happen in this. And so now you overloading this man with all this stuff. And God is like, she finna mess this up. She finna mess this up, and I'm gonna have to take her back to the end of the line. I'm gonna have to take her back all the way to the starting point, because she finna mess this up. She simply have forgotten the things that I have told her, the things that I have shared with her, the instructions I have given her, and now she's trying to make this about her. Because her husband is being nice to her today, because her husband has called today, because her husband made this decision to come out of the house today. Now, all of a sudden, he done went left and doing something, and she had an expectation of her own because of her own personal desire. And God had already told you, but he not ready yet. he not ready yet. The reason I allow him to call, because I want to show you that I'm faithful. I want to show you that I'm a man of my word. I want to show you that I'm a man of my promises. But it's not for you to inject your desire, your will, what you want this to be. That's not what this is about. And so many, I hear these stories all the time. So many wives get messed up on their journey and get pushed back to the end of the line and get back in a depressed place and get back into a low place because they refuse to submit and surrender and sign their will over to God. They refuse to do that. God's like, a lot of these wives are holding them own selves up. Wives, Coach T want to come on here today and share with you. My marriage, this is me. This is me. My marriage, and I don't want to share too much because I don't want to give, like I said, I'm preparing for it this weekend. My marriage was not necessarily restored and reconciled because of me. It was not. It was not. My marriage was not necessarily reconciled and restored because of my husband. It was not. God brought my husband and I back together because of his will. God brought my husband and I back together because of his purpose, because of his plan. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. And so this is why when I come on here and I say stuff like, don't listen to this person's formula and this person saying this and you got to do these things, you got to do these things. No. Why? You got to find out your why. You got to find out your why. And I'm going to share it. I'm sharing emails today for the ones who have already registered and signed up for the marriage restoration event. I'm gonna send you some information over to today, either today or tomorrow. Don't hold me to it. Domestic stuff takes reverence first. And so you got to find out your why. You got to find out your why. And one thing I can say for certain, God was really, 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 really clear with Coach T about her why. God was really, before my husband left our home, God was clear to me what it was that he wanted me to do. God was very clear to me. I shared with y'all before that when my father passed away, I was at the age of 26. And it was at the age of 27 when I really started to kind of get my life right with the Lord. Like I was really, really trying to get my life right with, with the Lord. And, but even before then, the Lord was already dealing with me because I was going to church and, when I first moved here to Georgia, I was a hot mess. I was on a wing and a prayer. My daddy prayed he prayed for his daughter. My daddy was my coach. And I was on a wing and a prayer. My daddy was my support. My dad was my accountability. My dad helped me to maintain my journey. My dad was pushing me in a direction that, Lord, please help my daughter. So he had been praying for me. So when I first came up into Georgia, that's when I really, really kind of got involved in church. And I was like, 20? I was telling my son, I was the same age as you is now, boy. I was like, how was I when I came to Georgia? I had to be 21. I was about 21. And so, I didn't want to come. I didn't want to come. And I remember going to my dad. I was like, listen, you got to say something to me that's going to, convince me that I need to be going up here with this ninja. At that time, I was dealing with a ninja. You got to tell me something that is going to, because at this point, we this was going to break us up, okay? Remember, I was 21, y'all. And my dad was like, what is it here for you to do? What is it here for you to do? You done graduate. You done started college. You pregnant with this man's son. What is it here for you? What is it here for you to do? He said, go and see the world. You need to go and see the world, and you need to experience some things. Go and see the world, and you need to experience some things. And while you experiencing some things and you see in the world, get you something underneath your belt. get you some form of degree, a certificate, or something underneath your belt so that you can take care of yourself. And because one day you're gonna open up your eyes, and you're gonna know the truth. I think you used to always tell me that. Yeah, no, I got a son like this right now. I had to call before I went to church this morning. Boy, you need to be in church. I know, Ma. I know. And I was saying to myself, my God, I'm the same way with my son now, how my dad used to be with me. You know, one day you'll understand. One day you'll figure it out. One day you understand. Wife, God's will is going to be done in your life. God's going to do things his way. God's going to work these things out that he gets the glory. You win. He's going to get the glory and you win. Either way it goes, however this thing turn out, however this thing is, it goes, you will get he will get the glory out of your story. God is going to get the glory. Before my husband left, before we got into that place of separation, and I want to say God's voice got louder around that time because it was just around the time before he had left. And I remember God saying, you're going to be like a Deborah. You're going to be like a Deborah. You're going to be like a Deborah. God was very clear with me about my why. And why is you got to understand and know. You have to understand and know. What is your why? And this is some of the things that we're going to talk about during the event. Helping wives to understand, what is your why? Why did God call you to this place? I'm hoping that as I re-ravel my story and tell and share my experience and share what happened to me, that you can figure out how did you get to this place? And why is God calling you to this place? It wasn't Coach T. It wasn't nothing I did. I couldn't do enough good. The more and more I tried to do good, the more and more I messed it up. The more and more I tried to fix things, the more and more it crumbled. The more and more I tried to, okay, I'm gonna be good today. I'm gonna fast. I'm gonna pray. I'm gonna read my Bible. I'm gonna do everything that the Lord told me to do. The more and more I did that, the more and more that ratchet man came out of me, baby. The more and more I tried to fix myself, the more and more I try to, I'm gonna be a good wife today. I'm gonna be nice to my husband. Man, it seemed like as soon as I would say those words, Mr. C come around the block and been said something to piss me off. I'm like, see, come on, Jesus. The more and more I try to do this on my own, it didn't work. It wasn't me. And wife, it's not gonna be you either. If God has a specific plan for your marriage, if he have a specific plan concerning your husband and you, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. But you need to figure out your why. Your transitioning season may be hard as all get out right now, but it's something on the other side of that. God had to reveal to me, now do you know why you've been going through so much hell these last couple of weeks? Now do you know why? And he was, and the one thing about the Lord, who I absolutely love, God will always give Coach T signs. He will always show me something. He will always give me something. I'm a visionary, so I need a vision. He will always show me something that will show me that this is what this is. This is what it's about. I'm going to tell y'all about this, and I'm going to let y'all go. And yesterday, I felt like he sealed it with Mr. C. I'm going to share a little bit with y'all about me and Mr. C Chronicles, okay? I talked to y'all about, on Friday, locating your thorn. I talked to y'all about locating your thorn. Well, my Mr. C is my thorn. He's my thorn. He's my lover. He's my friend. He's my boo. He's my baby. But he's my thorn too. And one of the things that the Lord had to point out to me was the type of support that I am using your husband for in your life, in this current season, at this current time in your life. The type of support that I am using him for is not necessarily the type of support that you was expecting, but it's necessary, Tanika. It's necessary. It's necessary for what I am calling you to. It's necessary for what I have you doing. It's necessary for the gift and the assignments that I have. It's necessary. And why I want to just pause and say this before I go any further. You have to understand and know that every coach, mentor, there is a gift, an assignment, something attached to that person. One of the things that, we always talk about Kevin Hart. Y'all hear Kevin Hart and some of his stand-up comedian comment stuff. Y'all be like, this man is not no healer or deliverer. But from the ministry point of view, he is. He is. He helped people out. He releases people in that way. Kevin Hart will be, if he was part of the church, I don't know if he can use those words, but he would be part of the healing and deliverance ministry. He helped people out. He eased people pain. He brings smiles to people's faces. But in his business, as a comedian, he's a comedian. But on the spiritual side, he's a healer. He's a deliverer. And so why that coach that's coaching you, that mentor that's mentoring you, there is some type of gift underneath there. There's a spiritual gift behind there. There's something that God has already ordained that person or should have. And this is why I tell you, check the fruit. Everybody ain't supposed to be coaching. Everybody ain't supposed to be mentoring, and you ain't supposed to be listening to everybody. All right. But that coach, that mentor has some type of gift. Y'all know I don't talk about mine a lot. I keep it real tucked under. It's real tucked under. But God has always told me I need to talk about it a little bit more, right? But I don't talk about it on this side as much because this side I'm a coach. I'm a wife coach. But behind the wife coach is a prophetess. Behind a wife coach, I have several spiritual gifts that God allows me to use to help my clients. So you come to me as your wife coach, you see the wife coach, but behind that wife coach, I got receipts, baby, okay? I got receipts. And that's all I'm saying. That your coach, your mentor, they need to have receipts. It's an evangelist behind your coach, your mentor. There's a teacher behind your coach and your mentor. All right? There is some spiritual gifts that God has given that person to help you. It's not just, oh, this is my wife coach. No, yes, I'm your wife coach. That's what I am in my business. But behind this person, behind the wife coach, baby, there's receipts on this thing, okay? And so I want to just encourage you with that, wife. I want to encourage you with that. Your coach, your mentor, the person that God is using to help you. And you don't need a coach to teach you the Bible. You don't need no coach to teach you the word of God. You don't need no coach to I'm paying you to teach you the Bible. No, that coach is not that. That coach is there for support. That coach is there for accountability purposes, and that coach is there for maintenance. Now, will the Bible be used? Will scriptures come up? Will prayer be had? Yes, because those things are needed if you are dealing with a coach who has that background, those underneath those gifts that you don't see that's disguised. She's a wife coach, but behind that wife coach, she's a prophetess. You maybe have a wife coach who's a pastor. You may have a coach who is a preacher. You may have a coach who evangelize, or who's a prophet. There is a gift. There's another title behind that coach. And so I just want to help wives understand that you're not paying nobody to teach you the Bible or paying nobody to teach you, oh, we're gonna pray together. No, you go to church for that. That's what church is for. I'm not gonna sit on here and teach you how to pray. Okay? That's what you go to church for. I'm not gonna sit here and teach you how to go through this, and that. No, but I am gonna utilize the word of God because I am not just a coach, I'm a Christian mental health wife coach. And so because of that, I'm going to utilize God's word. Okay? And so, where I was going with that, because I was going somewhere with that. I said that part, but I wanted to talk about, about God telling me, why he's using my husband to support me in the way he has been supporting me in this season. And my husband is a seer too. He's a seer. And we was talking about something when, and it came up or whatever, and it was like, man, you seen that too? We was talking about this individual, and it was like, so I wasn't tripping. You noticed that. You noticed about that person too. And y'all know I think I shared before, I got one of my videos about, being, like I said, that word I don't use a lot, that prophetess. How a lot of times people are so strong-willed that, and because God talked to them, and because they get so much revelation, and because they God give them a lot of information, sometimes that pride will arise in them. Sometimes pride will arise in them. And so you got to humble that. You got to have a level head with that. And I feel like that's what the Lord do with me when it comes out to my husband. It's like, I share a lot of stuff with you. You give these ladies a lot of information that I'm sharing with you. I need you to be level with this. And that's what he uses my husband for. And so my husband would see certain things or whatever, like, you the coach, you supposed to be doing da 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 da. I'm like, But I receive it from him because it's like, I know God is using him in that way to keep me from being prideful. I know God is using him in that way to keep me on a level base. I know God is keeping me in that way. Why? And I'm going to share with y'all. In the at the event the three instructions that God gave me when it came out to my husband. Wife, if God has a specific assignment on your life, and there is something that he is calling you to do, or something that he is wanting you to do, trust and believe. Trust and believe. If he is calling you to that, your husband is going to be there. Your husband is going to be there to help support you on that journey. What that support look like, what his assignment is, you may not necessarily be in agreement with it, but God is going to use him for that. And one of the things that the Lord had told me about my husband was, that he was going to use my husband in that. He would tell me that all the time. It was like a ringing in my ear. I would hear him telling me that. I'm like, I'm tired of hearing it, because it was like ring. It was so loud. And when I see certain things now, I'm like, dang, God did say that. Yeah, God did bring that to my attention. God did point that out. And it doesn't mean that everything is perfect, but it does mean that you need that thorn. You need somebody to keep you humble on this journey. You need somebody to help you be like, nah, you ain't all that in the bag of chips. No. You may be all that in the bag of chips on this side, but when it comes down to what God's going to do, you need to be humble. And one of the things I have prayed, I always pray that prayer, like, God, and that was one of my reasons for not wanting to be caught no prophets. Because like, a lot of these people who prophets, so they ain't not married, or they a lot of these people get divorced, and like, I like being married. I like my husband. I like that. I don't want to be one of those wives. It's like, I'm going to keep you humble. And baby, he uses Mr. C to keep me humble. It's like, oh God. He uses him to keep me humble. Why? It's not going to be you that brings that marriage back together. It's not going to be you that bring your husband back. You got to figure out your why. You got to figure out your why. Why has God called you to this place? Why has God told you to stay in this marriage? Why have God told you to do this assignment in the first place? And your husband benefits from what God has told you to do. Your husband benefits from your why. It won't be you. It won't be your husband. And so this is why when I hear these types of things like, oh, you got to do these things, you got to do these things, no. The only thing you need to do is get into God's presence. The only thing you need to do is get that instruction from the Lord. The only thing you need to do is to obey the thing that God has told you to do. The only thing you need to do is yield to the voice of the Spirit. The only thing you need to do is follow the instructions of the Lord. Because it's doing those things. The only thing you need to do is make sure that you are taking care of yourself. Get on your self-care regimen. Come on, Jesus. Get on that self-care regimen. A lot of people feel like, oh, I don't need a coach. I don't need anybody teaching about the word. No, you don't. You don't need nobody teaching you about the word. You can go to church and learn about the word. But you do need support. You do need accountability. You do need maintenance. A lot of times, and this is no shade. But a lot of times I have wives who don't necessarily continue on, with their check-ins. They don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to pay for their ongoing services that they need. They don't want to pay for that. That's part of accountability. That's part of being accountable. It's like, nah, I'm gonna tuck mine. I'm gonna keep this because I need to get my hair did, and I need to. I got this trip I'm planning, and I got to do this. No, you need to be held accountable. you need to be held accountable. And I'm not one of those coaches. I think some coaches they have they take the money directly. I don't do that, right? I don't do that. It's because it's at the end of the day, I don't want to force nobody. It's your choice. It's your choice if you want to do this or not. But wives, please do understand that when you say and you make a decision to be committed to something, and you say, okay, I'm going to check in and I'm going to do my check-ins on a regular basis, that's accountability. paying for your services, paying for your ongoing services, that's accountability. And I get so many wives who struggle in that area. They don't want to be held accountable in that area. And it's like, well, I don't have the money. But I bet you if the lights get turned off, you can get that money for that. You gonna make sure you got lights. You're going to make sure that you got water. You're going to make sure that your car is working. And I'm not saying those things are not are necessities that has to happen. Those are your daily necessities. But what I am saying is that if this journey is important to you, then be held accountable and do what you need to do. If this journey is important to you, do your part on here. Do what it is that you're supposed to do. Your marriage, that's all in the hands of God's sovereignty. Your marriage is all in the plans of God's will. Your marriage is all part of why God has called you to this place in the first place. You are not here by, oh, it's a coincidence. No, it's not a coincidence. God has called you to this place for a specific reason. Hey, girl, hey. God has called you to this place for a specific time. And in due time, and in due season, your husband, your marriage will benefit from what God has called you to. It's not going to be you that bring that marriage together. It's not going to be your husband that bring that marriage back together. It's not going to be that. This stuff is so much greater. And that's why I said, I don't know if all wives have the capacity to hear the word of the God, the word of the Lord in this. I don't know if all wives have the capacity to understand this. Everybody is not called to this type of assignment. Because this type of assignment, God has sketched this type out for a certain group of wives. There are several wives. There's different marriage groups and different marriage, training and coaching and different, some people are, coaching, marriages in this way. Some people are coaching, couples. Some people are coaching, wives in this way. Some people are coaching, you got the wives who are, first ladies. You got the wives who are, dealing with the husband with this. You got the husbands who are, doing things with their husband. It's a lot of us out here. Okay. But we all are on this journey. And it's going to all come and work together in God's perfect plan for our life. Why? Find out your why. Find out your why. Find out why God has called you to this place. It won't be you. It wasn't Coach T. My husband didn't get home. My husband, to this day, he still be like, this is the thing he said that stood out to me. He said, if I would have listened to, because my husband's from a different country. He said, if I would have listened to some of the people from other places about their view on American people, we wouldn't be here. If I would have taken some of the things that they have said into consideration based off of their experience and not walk through it in my own experience, we wouldn't be here. I said, yeah, that's part of that is true. But you have to also know and understand that you didn't get to that place. You didn't get to that revelation on your own. You didn't just get to that place, because there have been some times when you was listening, sir. I have to remind him that too. Like, there was some times you was listening, but you now have a better revelation. God has brought clarity to you where you now understand and see and know that no, it's not about what this person said in this person's view, but I have experienced myself. I tell wives all the time. If God has called you to something and your husband is part of that something, it's going to be what it's going to be. God going to make sure of it. God's going to make sure of it. He's going to make sure of it. If he's supposed to be there, he's going to be there. Keep doing your work. Keep doing your part. Keep journaling. Keep doing what it is that God has asked you to do. Keep being obedient on this journey. I can't emphasize that part enough. Keep being obedient. Even the things that seem crazy. God will ask me to do crazy. God asked me to do crazy things now. And I'll be like, Jesus. He like, you heard what I said. You heard what I said. I'm like, they don't make no sense. Do what I told you to do. God is going to ask you to do some things, wife, and you ain't going to understand it. But God is saying, I'm not calling you to understanding. I'm calling you to obedience. It's not going to be you, your husband, that bring this back together. It wasn't me. I look at my marriage. Me and my husband, we've been married 19 and a half years. That was nothing that we did. Coach T have tried on many occasions to fix it. My husband himself, has tried on many occasions to fix things. God has to give the revelation. God has to give the word. God has to show you. God has to intervene in that situation. It has to be bigger than my marriage. No, this is bigger than my marriage. God is calling us to do a work. And as we are doing our work, and sometimes that work is being done separately. Sometimes God is using your husband over here to do things and use you over here to do things. And one day he's going to bring you together to come together. And that's why God keep on saying, trust me, Tanika, trust me. Because my husband is doing some work in another area. And he's like, I need you to trust me. I need you to trust me. I already done told you the end. You win. I already done told you what happens. You win. I already told you what it's going to be. You win. And this is why wives have to stay on the thorn. They have they have to stay in that place. This is why wives have to have that heart posture in a healthy place. Because you can get an attitude, oh, he doing this, he doing that, he ain't doing that for me. Blah, blah, blah. You can get in that place, God, like, I need you to fix your heart. You gonna mess this up. I need you to fix your heart because you gonna mess this up. It ain't gonna be you. It ain't gonna be him. It's gonna be me. Because I called you to this. And as long as I called you to this and he's part of this, I'm gonna make sure this is gonna happen the way it's supposed to happen. Fix your face. Get back on that wheel. Get back in the race and do what I told you to do. If y'all don't remember nothing else, remember that. Take that with you. It wasn't me. It has not been me. I'm not sure I ain't have no other notes. It wasn't me. It has not been me. It wasn't me. It has not been me. The very things that God has allowed to take place in my marriage ain't got nothing to do with Coach T. Because Coach T and Mr. C would have messed it up a long time ago. And God's grace and mercy is the only thing that has kept us. We look at some other people that started out with us, and we look at where we are, you're like, it wasn't us. It wasn't us. And people counted us out. Come on. People counted us out. The enemy will try to keep dead things around you, or try to keep you in a place of darkness and make you feel like, you in the same dark place. And it's like, God's like, you got to stay focused. You got to keep moving. Say that root. Nobody likes doing routine things. Nobody, when you think about, a workout plan, nobody likes staying on going to the gym every day, or, eating certain foods that you don't like it, but you got to keep doing it. You got to keep doing it, because I'm telling you, it's breakthrough in the routine. God speaks in the consistency. God is doing something in the work that you're doing. Wives, do your work. Do your work. I don't care if I get up, I go to work, I gotta go to the grocery store, come home, cook dinner, help the kids do the homework, go to bed, and do it all over again tomorrow. Bam, that's your routine. Do your routine, because in that routine, God is doing something in you. God is doing something in you. Okay, I read my Bible today, read my Bible tomorrow. I got to fast and say, do your routine. What is the regimen that God has given you? This is why you need a coach. This is why you need a coach to keep you accountable to those things, to hold you accountable. You say, I don't need a coach for that. I can do that on my own. Okay. Coach T have a coach. Okay, I have a therapist, and I have my accountability partner. I need somebody to hold me accountable, because I bad. No, even to this day, I need somebody to hold me accountable. Because I would have messed this up. I don't got time to be moving backwards. I'm getting older. I just told you I came here when I was 21. When I was 21, Coach C is 43. I don't got time for that. I'm trying to, I don't got time for do-overs. God done showed me while I've had altered seasons. God has shown me where I missed it. I had to start all over. God has shown me where you did these things, and this is why you here in this place. I don't got time for that. You don't got time for that. You don't got time for that. The Bible tells you, I gotta find the Bible. I'm gonna let y'all go. There's work to do. There's work to be done. There is work to do on this journey. And so many wives keep on thinking about, oh, my marriage. Your marriage is a bonus. your marriage is the bonus. I was telling my son, he's a senior now. I'm like, listen here, boy. Okay, the only safest sex is between a husband and a wife. Anything else ain't safe. Okay? Sex was given for the marriage. Sex was given for that. That's the bonus. That's the bonus in this. You and your husband come back together. That's the bonus. But there's work to do right here, y'all. There's work to do. Let me see. The laborers are few. I got my Bible in front of me today. I'm trying to find this thing. Matthew, I think it's Matthew 9:35-38. And Jesus went throughout all cities and villages and teaching in the synagogues and proclaiming the gospel of the kingdom and healing every disease and every affliction. When he saw the crowds, he had compassion for them because they were harassed and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, wife, you are the disciple. Y'all missed that. Wife, God has called you to be his disciple. Okay? He said the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore, pray earnestly to the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest. You got work to do, wife. Your marriage is a on earth assignment. That's your own earth assignment. When you die and you go on to glory, you don't take what you got. This is your bonus on earth. This is your bonus. God's assignment supersedes your marriage. What God has called you to, it supersedes what's going on with you and your husband. And this is why I always tell wives, come on, let's go ahead and heal. You hurting, he cheated, you done found out something that you need to know, or you done went through some hardship, you done had some things. All right, let's walk through that. Let's walk through that. I don't want wives to ever think that we just trying to shut that out the way. Okay, we just trying to we just need to get through the emotion. No, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. You hurting, you in pain, he did some things, you didn't deserve that. I understand. Let's talk about this. Let's walk through this. But after we finish walking through that part, and we gonna talk about it as long as you need to talk about it. But after you finish getting through that part, we got work to do. we got work to do. Your marital pain got you to this place. Because God said, yeah, I know that hurt, but I got something for you to do. So go ahead and heal. Go on over there and talk to that coach, or go ahead and talk to Coach Tanika. Go ahead and call this coach over there. Go ahead and get your healing and stuff, and get yourself cleaned up and stuff, and get yourself together. Because after you do all that, we got stuff to do. we got stuff to do. It's plenty of work out here for us to do. Wife, it won't be you. It wasn't me. God didn't bring my husband back just it wasn't me. And he didn't bring my husband back just for me. That's part of his plan. When people see Coach T and Mrs. C, it's like, they still together? All that they went through? They still together? Did she know what he did? Do he know what she said? They still together? It wasn't me. It was God. And so listen, let me read this. And the Lord promised to make us white as snow due to our obedience, regardless of the red we have smeared on us. That part. Come on now. God gonna do his part. God is a faithful God. If I don't know nothing, God is a faithful God. He is faithful. And this thing is going to happen how he wanted to happen. Trust and believe. Wives better get busy doing their work. Get busy healing. Get busy doing their own inner work. They out here playing. They don't want to be held accountable. Nobody don't want to pay to invest in themselves. And they keep on trying to pay. Oh, I'm just doing this with God. I'm just doing. There are some things that you cannot get from church. God, I think Pastor Derek said, he said, God is enough, but the church isn't. God is enough. But just going to church every week and just doing the regular mundane things that we do in church every week, that's not enough. That's why God give you coaches. Coaches are disguised. We're undercover representatives of Jesus. Or at least we supposed to be. And that's why I tell wives to check the fruit. Check that fruit. Don't be out here listening to everybody. Don't be out here receiving stuff from everybody. Check the fruit. Because your coach should be a disguised representative of Jesus. And when I use the word disguise, I'm saying she has some type of gift. She has a story. She has something that's going to help you get better on your journey. That's what you need to be looking for. So if you're that wife, I got to take my son to work. I got to go. So if you're that wife and you are saying, you know what, I need to do my work, Coach T, I'm still out here trying to figure this thing out, sign up for your consultation. Let's talk. Let's talk. And one thing about your coach should know what you got going on. She should have enough experience on her journey, on her walk. So when you come with certain things, she know exactly where you are. She know exactly what you got going. She know what your story is. She know, because she done walked through it too. Okay? You want somebody who you have commonality with. You want somebody who you can talk to, who understands your journey. Sign up for your consultation. www.marriagechroniclesbytanika.com. And if you have not already signed up for the free marriage restoration event, sign up for that. That's happening on next Saturday, August 17th. Sign up for that. I'm going to be sending an email out in a couple of days, maybe tonight. I got to see. But sign up for that as well. I'm not sure if I'll be on this Friday or not because I want to prepare for the event. So www.marriagechroniclesbytanika.com. Listen, love y'all. I'll talk to you soon. Blessings.